back from Florida. Parker Fox, forward for the Golden Gophers basketball team. He has position flexibility. He can play small forward, power forward, hitting that 30-foot three against Cleveland State, though. Probably put him at 2 for a little patch and create a mismatch against Sparty. And he can play a little center, too, at Parker Fox 24 via Twitter, at Parker Fox 24 via the X machine. And here he is, back from Florida. Lost a couple of close ones to good teams. Big Ten play tomorrow night at the Barn. Overall, how was the trip?
Yeah, it was good. I think it's never fun to obviously drop games, right? Like you have a sour taste in your mouth. I think we kind of still have a sour taste in our mouth, but at the same time, we did so many good things that you want to find a way to kind of appreciate those good things and build on them. And even when you win games, you can feel that you didn't do things right or didn't play your best. So I think we did a lot of really good things down in Florida. Obviously, we lost a close one to Wichita State, ended up going to overtime. And then, we lost to a Wake Forest team that was, picked to be a top 3 team in the ACC. Just a couple of free throws at the end there, but could have won that one as well. So it's like you do a lot of really good things. So you want to take the positives and find ways to build on them, knowing that Michigan State is right around the corner here, and that's a Michigan State team that everybody knows Tom Izzo. Everybody knows that Sparty is a historic program, and we know as a team that they're right around the corner, right? Like it's no surprise. There's no hiding from that. It's a great opportunity. We get to play Michigan State in our home barn. Yeah. And what an awesome opportunity for us. But it's like, do you salt and do you soak on all this losing, or do you find ways like, hey, we did this well. How can we do it even better? Wednesday night against Michigan State.
Well, it also is an opportunity for sports fans looking for something to do on a Tuesday evening. Support not only Parker, but that basketball team at Gym Immortality, Williams Arena. I'm sure it's antiquated as bleep compared to some other facilities and stuff like that. However, sometimes I go into these older stadiums, man, and I'm like, yeah, the concourses aren't the widest. Like Nissan Stadium in Tennessee. Yeah, it's like low-key one of my favorites. Concourses are narrow, but the vantage points are elite. The fans have a good time. The tickets are fairly priced, just like your guys. So you can watch Big Ten basketball tomorrow night. Go for sports.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Thank you. Wednesday night, 7:30.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's if you haven't been to the Barn, which you have, it's such a unique viewing experience because the court is elevated. So I think it's such a fun spot to watch a game, and especially when you're playing Sparty, right? Like if you come Wednesday night, you're gonna see some high level, competitive, high pace. I don't know how much you know about Michigan State, but they love to push the ball. Makes or misses, they always have an outlet guy on both sides, and they're looking to run. So it's high level, it's high pace, and it's a fun environment. So hopefully we get a packed out crowd Wednesday night.
When teams push the ball and play racehorse basketball, big people get tired.
I always love that.
Big people do get tired.
Big people can get tired. And that's the case.
Luckily, I'm not too big, but we do have some big guys that will get tired, and that's going to be anytime you're playing Michigan State, it's one of those games where you're really rotating guys in and out because you got to find a way to be as fresh as you can be, just like we saw with the Vikings, this weekend, just rotating guys in that interior defensive line.
Here comes the stray.
And right there, right?
Yeah, we're going to catch a stray somewhere.
There's no strays for me. I didn't get to watch as much of the game as I would have watched.
Because you were handling Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune-Cookman, you're right.
And you know what? In that Bethune-Cookman game, it's Garcia, Dawson Garcia.
Yeah.
All right, it's a team that you're going to beat 9.7 out of 10 times no matter where the game is.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught some highlights, looked at the box score, read a recap. And Garcia, now I didn't see the Wake Forest game.
Yeah.
The Wichita State game against the Shockers on Turkey Day. Damn, that was a good game.
Yeah.
And Garcia shooting in those 2 games was not great. It's going to happen.
Yep.
So it correct me if I'm wrong here, whether it's against Dixie College in Utah, Pasadena City College, or the greatest Duke team ever, when your shot gets going and you're a scorer, just God-gifted scorer like Dawson Garcia, his shooting seemed to really get going yesterday, and that's important in front of Michigan State.
Oh, 100% it is. And Dawson's a 6'11" forward that's shooting 55% from 3 this year. So you look at those numbers, and you're like, holy cow, can this kid play? And,
it's antithetical to Jaden McDaniels.
1,000%
he caught a stray, but we'll talk about it later.
But Wichita State, Wake Forest, if you're a basketball mind and you're watching those games, you say, if you're the common fan, you're like, Dawson didn't play as great as he usually does. Well, look at the defense these teams ran against him. Every time he caught the ball, a double team was being sent, and they were loading up the backside, forcing the skip. So it's like, Dawson, if you watch as a basketball mind, Dawson made some really great plays setting other people up.
So you're saying he's the Justin Jefferson of college basketball players.
Sometimes it takes what it is, right? If you're getting triple teamed, you got to continue to run your route hard, and you got to, get into your breaks, because if you don't, then guys are going to sag off and have other guys open. So, I give a credit to Dawson that weekend. He didn't waver in what he'd do. He wasn't putting the ball, in the hoop the way he does. But, now you bounce back to Bethune-Cookman, which, with all due respect to them, they don't have any right in guarding Dawson Garcia, in my opinion, right? Like, they don't have the talent to guard Dawson Garcia. And
did they single him?
They actually singled him a couple times in the post, and that's what we call barbecue chicken.
Right.
So it was a fun one for Dawson to get back in that scoring column. And you need that kind of, Dawson isn't a guy that needs that confidence. He has a lot of internal confidence in the way he plays. But
I love watching him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But you put up 24 points the game before Michigan State. That gives you a little extra boost heading into a big one on Wednesday night.
Okay, the cultivation of the surrogate and of an elite basketball mind for moving forward, so you can howl with the homies and do hooty-hoo. Wake Forest, when you say Wake Forest basketball.
Yeah.
Quick twitch, top of the head. Like, who are some of the great NBA players in the history of James Naismith's game who played at Wake Forest?
Well, you go right away. You go right away to Chris Paul, obviously.
Okay, that's one of the top two. I think
I would have went a different route personally.
You would have went a different route, huh?
Yeah, it plays a little more like a Parker Fox than he does a Chris Paul.
From the Bahamas, was part of a twin tower with a man they called the Admiral.
Oh, man, this is before my time.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan was a Wake Forest.
Tim Duncan, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Now, they had a guard there. I think he was a guard named Randolph Childress.
Childress, heck yeah.
He didn't last long in the NBA, but holy cow, was he a good college basketball player.
Did Tim Duncan get any Final Fours or Sweet 16s? Did he have a pretty good college career? I couldn't even.
What do I look like, Ken Pomeroy? I just know that the Spurs all of a sudden were losing 1 million games, and they weren't even competitive, and they put Duncan with the Admiral.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they got a bunch of rings with Greg Popovich and the
European
Frenchman
guys.
Yeah, the Frenchman, Tony Parker. Either went at the end of the first round or early second round.
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili went in the second round. Yeah. You find him under a rock in Argentina. Holy
steals,
and Big Shot Bob came in with those corner threes.
Ooh, in 96, Duncan comes down with the flu in the Sweet 16.
Oh, no.
And they missed out.
No flu game from Duncan, huh?
No flu game from Tim Duncan.
Right. Who else? Al-Farouq Aminu.
Oh, yeah, Al-Farouq.
Getty.
Yeah.
Oh, James Johnson.
Okay.
James Johnson was high school immortality in Montana.
Yep.
And
the former T-Wolf?
Yes.
/ Miami Heat?
Yep. And he's best known for slam dunking in with all due respect, in the face of somebody we know as Spearfish Sammy, who's with the Minnesota Vikings Media Relations Department and was a very crafty left-hander at Spearfish High School. Yeah. James Johnson dunked on him in a holiday tournament. I've seen the picture.
I always love that one.
John Collins, he played there.
Oh, yeah, I'm a John Collins fan. Lob threat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some good players. There's actually a Matamidi kid who's a walk on there at Wake Forest. So one of my guys, Will Underwood. So give a little taste to Will. But they have a really good guard. Hunter Silas was a 5-star high school kid. Went to Gonzaga. Transferred over to Wake Forest now. So yeah, he's a legit dude that you're probably going to see in the association one day.
So you're fantastic on Turkey Day and that OT loss to the Shockers. Any idea why you're on the bench in overtime?
I think just that's the way it goes sometimes. I think you got to continue to trust your plan, and I did some really good things, but at the end of the day, the coach is going to put us in the best position to win, and you got to continue to trust that. And I think as a player that's been around it a long time, you continue to just really buy into that, and it's hard when you're a younger kid to kind of realize like, hey, I'm playing so well, why am I not in at this situation? And you want to go home and argue about it and da-da-da. But a guy for me that's been around it a long time, I think I don't care about the stats anymore, man. Like, I think that's genuine. You got guys that actually will say that, like, oh, I don't care how many points I score. But like, for me, it doesn't matter. Like, I want to win basketball games. I know I don't have a lot of basketball left in me, just with the injuries and all that kind of stuff. And for me, there's nothing greater than winning games. Like, I think a lot of people say it's fun regardless, but like, when you're winning games, football, basketball, whatever it is, like, the attention you get is greater. The support you get is greater. There's more fans in the crowd. Like, for me, there's nothing more important than winning basketball games. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like, I'm going to be bought in and 10 toes in on that.
9 to noon will never put you in a position to share where bones are buried. But from a teaching standpoint, for coaches, a lot of coaches listen to the show, a lot of parents, a lot of refs.
No doubt.
A lot of Billies and Johnnies and Christies and Susies and Antoines and Tamikas. Mm-hmm. So teaching point here, because I have a lot of respect for how you handle yourself in situations like that and personally. Mm-hmm. Is there a teaching point where unemotionally you talk to somebody about just to move forward? Yeah. Can I just, you don't have to even, if you did, don't even need to know the answer. Mm-hmm. But is it a teaching point like, why did this happen? And what can I do to potentially, be included in this situation?
Well, I think the biggest thing with that is who are you surrounding yourself with, right? Like what kind of people are in your circle? And I think a lot of times, a lot of times guys have really big circles where it's, there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of chatter coming from people who don't really understand it, or watching from a bird's eye point of view. But for me, I've kind of realized, especially through the injuries, that there's only, at the end of the day, you only need a really tight circle. Like you don't need 100 friends. You need a couple really good friends and family. And for me, that's my family. That's Taylor. That's my brother. And those are people that get it, right? Those are people that have been in competitive sports, have seen me play in competitive sports. And yeah, sometimes you need to blow off steam, right? Like that's natural. That's 100% natural. If you're not feeling those emotions, if you're not feeling angry or whatever that may be, then you're not into it. You're not competitive. You're not a competitor. And I think people that are truly competitors and want to compete really do care. So for me, it's having that close circle and being able to kind of talk it out. But then secondfold, the next story is how can you drop it and move on?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're dwelling on something for weeks on end, it's only going to affect the next one. So how can you drop it and move on? And for us, unfortunately, it came with a couple losses in Florida, but like, how can you move on? Because Michigan State, they don't care. They don't care that you lost.
Yeah.
Like they're coming in.
And you can't change it.
And they're coming in with the fuel. We beat them last year at home.
Right.
What is Tom Izzo telling Michigan State all this week? Oh, they beat you at home, this and that, like all this extra motivation. We don't care about that. How can we find a way to win against Michigan State? So I think it's twofold, but I think for us, it's finding ways to move on and realizing that there's brighter days ahead.
That was a fantastic response, and thank you for it. Must have been a great Fox/Heisey household this weekend. You're playing great on Turkey Day. Get benched in overtime. You guys lose. And then Taylor's champion Frost lose to New York last night at the X.
I always love that one.
It's like, do you guys only have Davenports of love around your house for like sports counseling sessions?
Yeah, well, it's funny because, I think any normal kind of couple, they don't go through kind of what we go through in terms of, both being in, high level sports and, being affected by the different emotions that come with that. And to be honest with you, it's very limited. It's a quick conversation.
Good for you.
It's, hey, what do you need to get off your chest? I'm here to support and feel whatever you need to feel.
Yep.
But then at the same time, like we mentioned earlier, it's a new day. It's ready to move on, so I think, we haven't even talked about it this morning. I think it'll be, if there's anything, it'll be brief. And it's, hey, how can we move on? Because there's so many more games and there's so many more, situations. But the beautiful thing about it is that I got to be there to support her because we played at 2:00.
Oh, you went last night?
Yeah, I got to go last night. Went straight from my game to her game and got there right at puck drop.
8,000 people sound right?
Man, so awesome.
They had 8,000 people.
Yeah, got there right as the banner was being raised up. And
that's awesome.
Just the love and the support and all the hanker, what do you call those towels? The rally towels and all that kind of stuff. We're being tossed. So yeah, it was awesome. They started out hot too. I think it was the fastest goal in the history of the league to start out, and it was 2-0 like that. And then unfortunately ended up dropping it in overtime. But just the support and being able to see her do what she loves is special for me.
She plays a more physical game than you play.
Yeah, I think so.
It just the game itself.
Oh yeah.
Now, is there checking?
There's not technically body checking, but like if you were to sit down and watch a game, you'd be like, how is...
We got cross-checking in front of the net. We have sticks pushing people out of the way.
It's physical. And
puck battles are physical.
And they let those girls play too.
Okay.
Like if you were watching the playoffs last year, Taylor got like UFC tackled and wrestled on different sort of situations, type of situation where it's like take the best one out, type of deal. But it's physical, and I think the refs want to try to let it be physical, but at the same time, you got to find a way to control it a little bit.
And what I'm getting at here is like even first game of the year for you, for her, 9th or 10th for you. is you come home from a game and then, you know what? You've played a lot of basketball, man. I mean, you may have a knee strain.
Yeah.
It's like not a knee problem. My knee is strained and it needs rest and elevation.
Yep.
When they come home from hockey games, I mean, she's got to be beaten up.
Oh, yeah.
She plays a lot. It's a physical brand of sport, even for the women. And I bet you her body's beaten up sometimes after these games, right?
Oh yeah, and hockey is that fast minute and a half even is kind of long, 30-second shifts where you're going all out for short term. Basketball is obviously different; it's more endurance based. You're getting up and down the floor a little bit, but yeah, I think the biggest thing with her is just like last night. You get home and like I said, it's moving on. What do I need to do tonight? So I feel better tomorrow, whether that's, Normatec and the air compression and massage gun and all this and that. And like, it's long, like it's a long year. And I think we often say the best, ability is availability. So if you're healthy and if you're ready to play, you can give yourself a greater advantage.
Bursage always says can't make the club in the tub.
I always love that.
It's an age-old that's wonderful the way he puts that. So you get Michigan State Wednesday.
Yeah.
Michigan State just beat 12th ranked North Carolina in overtime. It was a very high-scoring game. I don't know how much film watching you've done on Izzo's team, but what do you know? What do you see in the Spartans?
Yeah, we'll start watching today. We always do 2-day preps. That's kind of our deal. Today will be more kind of, individual based, and then we'll go into more of the play based tomorrow. But I think I've played them enough times now, and I've watched them enough. And growing up, I think if you are a basketball fan, you always found a way to turn Michigan State on because whether they're in the 25 straight years of the NCAA tournament or whatever it may
1979. I'm 13 years old. I'm about ready to move from Washington D.C. to California. My whole life's going to be uprooted. And the last NCAA tournament championship game I watched while living outside of Washington D.C. was Michigan State and Indiana State. And it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. It was the hick from French Lick and the kid from East Lansing.
Oh yeah.
And that's Michigan State there. And then we move, like Trent Tucker.
Yeah.
He's from Flint, but he played for Minnesota.
Yep.
And then you move through like Mateen Cleaves. And I mean, there's some ballers from Michigan State, man.
Oh yeah, and there's enough guys in that association to prove that for sure. But I think just the way Tom Izzo recruits, like he recruits speed, he recruits size, he recruits guys that play really hard. So I think it's going to be fun. And then you add the top Trey Holloman. He's a Cretin-Durham Hall kid. I don't know if you know that name at all.
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, point guard for Michigan State. Had a really great game against North Carolina.
Guard?
Yeah.
So don't they have Aiden or Akey or what's my man's name? The other guard.
Oh, they got Jaden Akins.
Thank you.
He's a good lead guard for them. And then they got Jeremy Fears, and they got Cohen Carr, who's a next level athlete. They got a bunch of guys, but Trey always is playing hard, and especially when he gets to come home and play in front of his home crowd as well. So we're going to see that's going to be a little added factor. But yeah, they just play really hard. They do everything right. They if you're playing for Tom Izzo, if you're not doing things right, you're going to hear about it. So I think it's the easiest way to do it is to play the game right. So I think for us, the biggest thing is going to be just focus on our details. And at the end of the day, you just got to find ways to win, whatever that may be.
Wednesday night at the Barn, Williams Arena. Gophersports.com to learn more about the game and get some tickets. Wednesday evening, watch Gophers basketball and our main man, Parker Fox, at Parker Fox 24. The Lakers are here tonight at Target Center. AD, LeBron, and rookie Dalton Connect. Who really can connect and really can score. The Hal beat the Clippers Friday night. I was at the game. The bit just still does not seem fluid like NBA championship type fluid. And one thing that Wolves fans know, those who watch it, and I've seen it, but I saw it in person. The bit players, they miss too many shots. And I don't know if it's because Randall's shooting more than Cat ever shot or Ant. I don't know what it is, but like, what do you think about all that and playing the Lakers tonight? When I say the bit players, the secondary type pieces are missing too many shots.
And especially when you're at home, right? Like we often talk about when you're at home, you need your role players to hit shots and be better than they are on the road. And I think that's something we've been missing a little bit. And I think it's the Clippers are a team that really want to play with pace, and they really want to play with a single ball handler in James Harden, which you obviously saw. And I think defensively we were pretty solid. You only give up 92 points to a team that wants to score a lot of buckets. So It's going to be a process, and we've talked about it on the show enough, and we're still kind of searching. But like I mentioned last show, I think it starts with our defense. Like I think your defense, and it's something we found our identity in with the Gophers is we've really found what our defensive identity is, and I think Finch kind of preaches that as well, and I think they haven't been able to find that as well as they want to. So I think that's the biggest focus, especially when you're playing guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and obviously it's going to be packed in there tonight. Everybody loves to come and watch the Lakers play, but how can you settle that hype down and just be focused on the details defensively against those guys?
Offensively, Parker, because sometimes it's tough to watch them feed Rudy.
Yeah.
It's just so wonderfully, and then he can't handle the pass because big people get super mechanical, especially when they're taking steps and catching bounce passes. Is offense from Gobert, in your opinion, how important is it?
I think it's important, but I think it's the way that they go about his importance is key. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is a tremendous talent in isolation. He's gonna shoot 20 plus times a game. That's just is what it is. Rudy isn't your normal kind of back to the basket, let him work out post. I think that's not where he excels. He excels in having other people create for him. And that's something we haven't seen as much this year, whether that's Mike Conley just not really having it yet because, we've seen those big 7-footers really kind of be serviceable off of those lob plays. But how do those lob plays work, right? You got to be able to break your primary defender down. If you can't break your primary defender down off the dribble, then you can't get to the secondary defender, and then you can't have the lob play, right? So I think it starts with the guards being able to kind of break the perimeter defenders down. And if you watch the NBA, there's a lot of switching that occurs, whether that's Julius Randle with a bigger guy on him going and setting a ball screen and trying to get a 4 or a 5 to switch on to the point guard. Now you can break your defender down a little easier. We just haven't seen that as much. And I think that's just kind of your offensive scheme. So getting back to the basics of what really works in the NBA, getting downhill, playing inside out. If anybody that's played basketball knows, the 3-point shot goes in better when you get a paint touch and you kick it out.
Yeah.
Right? That's just an easier shot. It's been an easier shot in the history of basketball. So finding ways to get in the paint, operate out of there. If the lob's not there, who can we kick it out to, and who can step up and make a 3-point shot?
And off that, a minute you get it all. That's so beautifully laid out the way, because you're right. I mean, at least from what I know. But Jaden McDaniels would be the one where we're going to play the inside-out game. We're going to double somebody low, probably Randall. Now you're going to swing it, kick it out, skip it, whatever. And there's McDaniels wide open in the corner. It's a long season. I understand that. And they're 25% into it or right around there. But McDaniels is 6 of 23 from 3 his last 5 games. And only 3 of 19 games has he made more than 50% of his threes. And he generally is wide open. And it's like, okay, more than 50% of threes. Why would you use that? Because he doesn't shoot a ton of them.
No, he doesn't.
If you're shooting 4, well, then a string of 3 of 4 is what you're supposed to see. I mean, I wonder what the problem is there.
Yeah, I think when it comes to shooting, you spend so much time, working on your game and working on your shot that it just becomes a confidence thing. Like, I can't even explain to you how much of a different shooter you are when you just shoot it with confidence. Like, you can't guide a basketball into the hoop.
Right.
Like, for anybody that's ever done it, if you try to guide it in, it's not going to go in. Like, you gotta
just watch Shaq shoot free throws.
100%. You got to let that thing fly. And I think that comes with time and confidence. So keep shooting them, keep getting them up, but shoot them with confidence and know that when it leaves your hand, it's going in the hoop.
My man, tear it up and stay healthy on Wednesday.
Appreciate it.
And next Monday, we'll probably give you a little phone call, given you'll be in Bloomington, Indiana.
Love it.
Getting ready for the Assembly Hall game. And bless you. And Taylor, tell her I say hi.
Will do.
And it's great seeing you, man.
Always, brother. Love you.
That's probably love you too. Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via Twitter. Hey, you missed the montage, and you missed the montage, and maybe Ben Leber exclusively with Justin Jefferson after the victory yesterday. Well, by golly, you're going to get to hear both next.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. The most wonderful time of the year montage from earlier, 5 in a row for the Vikings. They're now 10-2. But as you heard PAT's last segment, Ben Leber, who does post-game interviews down in the locker room, out on the field, of course, as well throughout the season, each and every week, he caught up with Justin Jefferson for a little extended chat in the locker room with some interesting bits about a certain former quarterback who will be coming to town this weekend. Let's listen to that conversation. Take it away, Ben.
On the Vikings locker room with none other than Jets, Justin Jefferson. How do you explain this game in your words?
I don't even have the words to explain it. But I mean, I feel like, it's just kind of been like that. Just being hit with adversity a little bit throughout the games, and I feel like just the universe is just testing us. Just the football guys are testing us to see if we're going to fold, if we're going to bow down our head and just take it under the chin. But nah, we're picking each other up. We're carrying on that energy and fighting for each other. So it's a long game. 60 minutes is a very long time to play football. So we're just trying to go and play football until that 0-0-0 hit the clock. And luckily and blessingly, we got the dub today.
I tell you what, you have proven to all of us that you guys are resilient. You guys don't need to put yourself in tough situations anymore. Like, you guys are proving it to us. We know, the mental toughness that you guys have on this football team. As we are now in the month of December, and you know how important the month of December is getting ready to the playoffs. Like, what do you want to see from your team, from the offense, to get a little bit more polished up for a playoff run?
Everyone knows that, this offense and defense, it haven't played their best ball yet. We're still doing things that hurt ourselves. We're still doing things that, we feel like as a team we shouldn't be doing. So during December, we're 10-2, great position to be in. During this time, it's just getting better, executing, of course, better, and just fixing up those little bitty knickknacks that we have to draw us back more than going forward. So I feel like this team is definitely well, and mentally we're focused on the ideal of getting to the Super Bowl and the potential of where we can really go. It's just all about just taking one game at a time. Every game is not going to be a great game. Every game is not just going to be a blowout. So we just got to come prepared and just be ready to play for 60 minutes.
That preparation, let's talk about that. Last game, you only had 5 targets. The last time you only had 5 targets was when you got injured in the Vegas game last year. And, you're a big part of this offense. Going into this week, in this preparation, knowing that you only were targeted 5 times, did that change your outlook at all? Did it change your preparation, wanting to be a bigger part of the offense today?
I kind of feel like the whole building kind of felt that they kind of needed to target me a little bit more today. Just going in and just coming in with that attitude, just not the bad attitude, but the attitude is like, all right, I want the ball. Like, it's time for me to step up and to play like I'm supposed to be playing. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be playing, 2 catches for 27 yards. So just having that on my mind and just carrying that energy and that momentum coming to the game. Sam's found me a couple of times and was able to move the ball. Had that catch on the 4th down at the end of the game to move the ball and to get us that advantage. So it's just all about just, staying with the flow, staying with the offense, trusting in the offense and the schemes. Not every game is going to be a big game for me, as it should, as it should. The whole every defense is scheming to stop me. So every game is it's not going to be that top game, but as long as everybody else is eating and we're getting that dub, that's all that matters.
So can you take us through that 4th down play? Was that play designed specifically to go to you, or did you just see that you had that soft spot in that zone and he did a good job of seeing you?
Yeah, the second option. Yeah, just having that soft spot, just implementing that play and us kind of, just going through the motions throughout the week, and us calling that play during that specific time was a perfect call. Sam to see me in that hole and to give me that ball right away for the first down.
I don't want you to look ahead too far because we do have the 24-hour rule. I want you guys to really enjoy this, but I will ask you about next week. I know that you're not competing against Kirk Cousins, but he's going to come back into this building. Obviously, you guys have a special relationship. What's it going to be like to see him on the other side of the field in a different colored jersey?
Yeah, it'll definitely be good to see, see Kirk, and I haven't really talked to him since he left, so it'll be good to see him up close in person, and of course I'll holler at him after the game. But I definitely want him to not do so well when he come here. I want the defense to be all over him, and I want us as a team to play a complete game. So just like you said, these 24-hour rules it definitely will be just celebrating this victory and just looking back on the things that we did well. But after today, it's back to the grind, back to seeing the things that we need to do better from this game, and then moving on to the next game.
We definitely want to see more Kirk and not Kirko. So I'm with you on that, man.
This thing is at the crib, man.
Appreciate it, man. Congrats.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Interesting. Justin on Atlanta. Interesting.
Oh my God, Kirko shit.
Alrighty, the program is around the corner, undoubtedly with a patented montage in celebratory fashion of the Vikings' victory yesterday. Pressure Points or Pressure Point is provided by Sukup and Sukup.com. And here it is. And we will have one tomorrow at Shields in Eden Prairie. It's all written out for you and involves the Vikings and the crowd. So stop by Shields and say hello to all of the shows tomorrow, beginning at 5:30, 9 to noon. We'll have wide receiver Tristan Jackson at 9:30 and linebacker Blake Cashman at about 10:30. So come say hi to Nordo and yours truly. Thank you for listening to 9 to noon today. If you missed any of it, podcast it at KFAN.com. And the program is next.
Good times, easy credit rip-offs.
If they get a first down here, I might throw my binoculars in the crowd.
Good times.
Come on!
Good times. If we lucky, we got 'em.
9 to noon.
Good times.
I know, right?
Now, what did I do wrong?
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.